Celebrations in Moscow after Donald Trump won the presidential race, the Kremlin calling it, quote, a new era of constructive cooperation. And after a lengthy phone call between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin, a promise to meet in person. Meanwhile, Canada is set to send about 500 troops to the border of NATO ally Latvia to face off against the Russians. Some have even called for Canada to toughen its laws against corrupt Russian officials. Should Canada cool or warm relations with Russia right now? For more on this, I'm joined here in Ottawa with an exclusive interview with Russia's ambassador to Canada, Ambassador Darchiev. Good to see you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
How would you characterize the President-elect Donald Trump in terms of relations vis-a-vis Russia and global relations?
Yeah, I should say that his election is a victory of common sense and pragmatism, of time-proven geopolitics where national interests, not ideological cliches, do matter. And it's a promising opening for Russian-American relations, which are not in their best shape, to say the least.
One reason a lot of people say they're not in the best shape is there's been a lot of accusations that Russia hacked the election. The head of the CIA, the head of the FBI, the head of Homeland Security, multiple security agencies pointed to Moscow and they said Russia hacked that election with the Democratic National Convention party's emails and influenced it by feeding WikiLeaks. Multiple people suggested Russia hacked. Did Russia interfere with the democratic process of the U.S. election?
You know, the U.S. is not Banana Republic. The U.S. is the key world power. That's the first thing. The second thing is
what does that mean? I mean,
that means that any suggestion that election in the U.S. could be influenced from the outside is preposterous.
So why would the head of the CIA, the FBI, and Homeland Security, and multiple other security agencies point the finger at these emails coming from Russia?
You know, any election campaign has its, you know, in terms of election campaign, there are too many rumors circulated. And I think that was the blunder on the part of Hillary Clinton to flagship Russophobia at the centerpiece of her election campaign, because all elections are domestic. It's about jobs, it's about discontent of the middle class, so no foreign power could ever influence election in a superpower.
Okay, fair enough. This is not to excuse the U.S. In fact, the U.S. has interfered with democratic processes in the past. My question is, though, about Russia. Did Russia provide emails that it had hacked to WikiLeaks?
No.
No.
We have a definite answer on them.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Why does Donald Trump speak so warmly about Vladimir Putin?
I think, you know, Donald Trump is not pro-Russian, he's pro-American. And he believes when prioritizing threats to the United States, the major threat is the threat of the absolute evil of international terrorism. And Russia has always been consistent in urging the outgoing US administration that we need to join forces like 75 years ago against Nazism in fighting international terrorism.
You know, Syria is the front of that. Many people now, as you and I speak, the fighting in Aleppo has kicked up again. Many people have accused Russia and Russian forces of backing Assad, who many people believe is a terrorist regime in and of itself, and they're killing civilians. Assad chemically bombed his own people, and the Russians have been his ally.
You know, what I should say that we need to crush these hotbeds, and Donald Trump is very eloquent on that. Otherwise, we are doomed to sit and wait when terrorists would come to our doorstep at their choosing.
But, sir, you realize that many people view Russia as an aggressor. They point to the 2014 annexation of Crimea that the International Court called an act of aggression. I know Russia has now withdrawn from the International Criminal Court over this. Can Canada warm relations with Russia after the annexation of Crimea, which Canada does not accept?
Yeah, we have a completely different narrative, and you know it. We believe that was reunification of Crimea with Russia. There was a referendum, and there was a coup d'etat in Kiev, which triggered the whole process. We believe that under given circumstances, the only way is for warring parties in Ukraine the major thing is to realize that it's a civil war. The major self-deception for the West is to believe there is a Russian aggression. There is no Russian aggression.
Well, you call it self-deception. You know, the United Nations says it's Russian-backed instability in eastern
Ukraine. There is a civil war going on there. If we want a stable peace there, we need direct dialogue between Ukrainian sides.
Canada is now putting 450 troops in 2017 in Latvia, a NATO ally, as NATO shores up its eastern flank, concerned about Russian aggression. And they're going to have 4 battalion groups close to the Russian border. What message does that send to you?
I think it's up to Canada to make its own sovereign decisions. I could present only food for thought, and I should say that NATO it's our deep belief and it's our narrative that NATO is irrelevant. It's Cold War relic, which desperately needs rationale for its continued existence. If you want to divert your resources for NATO buildup, that's the sovereign choice of Canada. Same thing is for Ukraine. If we really want peace there, we need to bring both sides to negotiating, to the bargaining table. This would be a very tough bargain, but there is no other way we could do it. And we have a very good agreement on that. That's the Minsk Accords.
Right, but hold on.
It should be implemented in full.
But Ambassador, this is important. You say Russia believes NATO is irrelevant, and you know that Donald Trump and NATO allies all want doubling of the GDP to 2% of GDP to NATO, and Canada is sending troops to NATO to face off against your country's soldiers in the event of Russian aggression. What message do Canadian troops on the Latvian border send to your country? NATO buildup is a national security concern. We are open for dialogue, but we sincerely believe it's not good for European security. Ambassador, I've got to leave it there. Many things on the plate and a very interesting fundamental shift going on in the world. I appreciate your time, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. It was very nice to see you.